And a very good Saturday morning, afternoon, evening to you, and happy Valentine's Day to those celebrating today. The Whenever Saturday podcast with your host, me, Andy Pollack. Get our sponsors out of the way first. Now, we talk about how expensive it is to be a WWE fan. Of course, you need Monday Night Raw on Netflix. You either need a way to watch NXT Tuesdays, SmackDown on Fridays, and of course the ridiculous ESPN streaming service if you are a cord cutter and just want to completely get off the cord. What if I told you there is a way to watch all of your WWE shows on Netflix? And that is, of course, the main sponsor of Andy's Randomness, Proton VPN. For only $9.99 a month. Yes, $9.99 a month. Cheapest VPN out there for the VPN Plus plan. You can secure up to 10 devices at a time. High VPN connection speeds. 15,000 servers in 120 countries. Block ads, trackers, and malware. 24/7 priority support and live chat. And of course, if you have Netflix from Monday Night Raw, stream NXT Tuesdays. Stream SmackDown on Fridays, and of course, stream the upcoming premium live event, the WWE Elimination Chamber from Chicago on Saturday, February 28th. Quick reminder that if you sign up for the 2-year plan, it is $71.76. So what are you waiting for? If you want to completely ditch the cord, you want to make sure that you can watch all your WWE shows, visit ProtonVPN.com. It is tax season. Yes, and who's the best person in Long Island to help you file your taxes? That is, of course, Michael Longobardi and Associates. For over 25 years, Michael and his team has been offering bookkeeping, financial planning, financial statements, individual payroll services, business tax returns, and of course, helping you to file your 2025 tax return. So what are you waiting for? You need your taxes filed. Go to Floral Park and check out Michael Longobardi and Associates on Vernon Street, close to Tulip Avenue in beautiful downtown Floral Park. Now we get to our other sponsors here. Do you need reliable auto care services in Nassau County? Or if you're coming from Suffolk or Queens, you always can do that. Check out Pete, the car doctor. Pete and his specialist, Elvis, can help you figure out what your car care needs, old or new. Pete's been doing it for many, many years now. You need an oil change. You need your tire changed. You need your heat checked. Because you never know, we can get into another cold spell. Having issues with your all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Having issues with your transmission. Anything, you need your brake pads checked, Pete's the guy to do it. Of course, with its specialist, Elvis. So go check out Pete's Auto Care, 194 Horton Avenue in Limbrook. Drive in. Pete and Elvis will take care of your car. And lastly, do you need a good place to eat before any event at UBS Arena, either an Islander game or the upcoming Ringling Brothers Circus in March? Well, check out the Stop 20 Diner. So if you want breakfast for lunch, breakfast for dinner, or something good for the kids to eat, or a good treat, I recommend the brownie. Stop 20 Diner has good cost, good food. What are you waiting for? Go check out the Stop 20 Diner. They are located on Hempstead Turnpike, 1336 Hempstead Turnpike in Elmont. Very quick drive to the arena. Also, I'm going to check out the outlets. In fact, they have outlets now at UBS Arena. So, you need a place to eat before you go shopping by the outlets. Or if you're just going to make a quick stop to Target over there on Hempstead Turnpike. I mean, again, Stop 20 Diner is the best place to grab a bite to eat. So, again, 1336 Hempstead Turnpike in Elmont. Okay, Now that we got the sponsors out of the way, so we're going to talk about the Knicks, how they look going into the second half of the season. I'll recap the Super Bowl. I'll talk about the Bad Bunny halftime show, and I'll talk a little bit about the Turning Point USA show, and maybe some other pop culture stuff we'll get into. But I also want to get into some good news about the economy, because this week there was some good news about GDP growth in the United States, and of course some other news about, I believe we did get the unemployment report last week. So if I missed that, I will get to some news about the economy. So that being all said, let's get into the Knicks first. So how have the Knicks looked for the first half of the season? Well, here's where they stand right now in terms of what the team looks like. So they're 35-20. So that gets them a tie now for the 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. Plenty more games to go. The first game of the second half will be Thursday against the Pistons, which Detroit's just been a pretty brutal team for the Knicks to play this year. But 35-20, you got to feel confident in the spot that they are in right now. They have a pretty deep bench than other Knicks teams in the past. And the good news is they did acquire another guard during the before the trade deadline. They got Jose Alvarado. Now, he looked pretty good the other night against the 76ers. So don't credit that out, because Philadelphia did not have Joel Embiid playing back on Wednesday. So you have to account for the fact that Philadelphia didn't look good on Wednesday night. But the only thing is, with Miles McBride, or as they call him, Deuces, being out, the Knicks had to have made a move that would solidify the bench for a deep run that would get them well into the remainder of this month, because this is a short month, right? And a lot of games coming up in March, right? And I want to mention something very interesting about the upcoming Knicks schedule. And I have it right in front of me right here. So, from what I'm reading from the Knicks schedule here, after next Saturday's game, so we're talking about next Saturday being the 21st, right? Get this, the Knicks do not have any other Saturday night games. You want to know something interesting about the Knicks? And I look at the schedule very carefully here. They are guaranteed one game every Sunday for the month of March. Isn't this an interesting fact about the Knicks? I'm just looking at the schedule and I'm like, yeah, every Sunday next month for March. A lot of games for the Knicks that will be Sundays. Now they're keeping the Friday night tradition alive. The Knicks are going to have the Friday night games at least. So at least that's the good news. So, yeah, but they're in a pretty decent shape. I don't want to get too overconfident about this team. This team has let you down so many times. Yeah, this is an interesting fact I found out about the Knicks. It is a true fact that I realized last year, especially when we lost to Indiana, the Pacers. The Knicks never can win a series when they lose the first game of a best of 7 or a best of 5, I think. Yeah, they never win. They never win. So they got to win game 1 of a series in order to be the favorite, right? The Knicks proved it last year. They can win on the road, even when they had Tom Thibodeau. If they can win on the road, they have a good shot. But if they can't win their home games, they say home court's supposed to be important. How do you not win these games at home? You know, I just don't get it. When I look at this Eastern Conference this year, everybody says it all the time. Oh, they could be a 2 or a 3. The Knicks are still a dangerous team because the Eastern Conference is a bunch of overachievers with the Celtics. Because Boston has figured out what they gotta do, but the Knicks did beat the Celtics recently. I mean, Detroit just seems to be their kryptonite. I hope I'm wrong about that. But if you can't beat a team like Detroit, why do you deserve to go to the finals? So, I know people bash Mike Brown, the coach, for this and that. I've bashed Karl Anthony Towns. I call him Mr. 5 fouls a game because he always kept getting into foul trouble in certain games recently in the first half of the season. But hopefully Karl is going to get his composure. And by the way, the stitches on his eyebrow, they're just so disturbing to look at. No wonder he had that Band-Aid on. So, you have to look at the 35 wins and say to yourself, all right, at this rate, they're going to win 50 games again. They'll be a 2 or a 3 seed. There's no way they can mathematically catch up to the Pistons unless Detroit falters, which we've seen crazy things happen. And remember this, Cleveland was the 1 seed last year. All right, think about this for Cleveland. And this is a very important statistic for the Cavaliers last season. When Cleveland won 64 games last year, right? They got bounced out by Indiana. Anybody remember that? So anything's possible. Anything is very possible. Now, things could happen. Hopefully everybody stays healthy. Adam Newboy's dealing with some injury issues, but hopefully he'll bounce back. Hopefully OG comes back, but you gotta like Jose Alvarado. You gotta like the acquisition because Leon Rose figured if Miles McBride's not going to be around for a while, just let this kid come on and see what he can do. And he gave you a couple good moments the other night in Philadelphia, so we'll see. I think Jose is what this team needs right now. And then once Miles McBride comes back, and again, this is very important to note, if you look at how consistent the benches, Mike Brown plays everyone, which is very good. So you want to see everybody play. You want to see everybody come off the bench. So, again, I'm not overconfident just yet. I got to see what they look like well into March. I got to see how well they play. If they play well and they look good getting into the playoffs, and I think I actually have the date of when the play-in round would begin. Right here it is on my phone. I actually have it right here because I made like a little mental note on it. The play-in round would begin on April 13th or the 14th. And then I believe the playoffs will begin on April 18th, anywhere after April 18th. From what I had a mental note and I took down from the NBA schedule recently. So I can speculate it out 2 months out. It's fair for me to do it, so we'll see. I don't want to get overconfident. I don't want to say this or that about the Knicks, but they should be a fun group to watch. They should give you a lot to look forward to, and yeah, we'll go from there, and we'll see how they do. All right, now let's get into the Super Bowl. And oh boy, what a lackluster game that was between the Seahawks and the Patriots, huh? I mean, what can you say about that game? You know, it looked like both defenses were on clutch for like the first half of the game. Nobody wanted to score a touchdown in the first half, right? And, you know, this is what exposed Drake May a little bit. The amazing thing is he had 2 interceptions in this game for the Patriots. Now, the stat line says that he almost passed for 300 yards in this game. That's an interesting statistic when you think about it. When I look at the stats for Sam Darnold, he only threw for 202 yards. and only one touchdown, and that was to Barner, right? Let me get his full name. A.J. Barner, the tight end for the Seahawks. Oh, boy. So, yeah, Nwosu, he had the pick 6 in the game for the defense. The reason why I think they gave Kenneth Walker, the running back of the Seahawks, the MVP, I think it's obvious because they looked at the 135-yard rushing that he had, and they figured, all right, we can't give it to Darnold because, not impressive on the stat line, but when you go 27 carries on 135 yards, you're going to say to yourself, wow, I mean, this guy definitely is worthy of an MVP award in the Super Bowl. So, and a random fact about the Super Bowl nobody wants to talk about. 70,000 people attended at Levi Stadium. So, and now we're going to get into the controversy that was the Super Bowl halftime. Oh, boy. We have to talk about Benito Ocasio, a.k.a. Bad Bunny, who, by the way, random fact about Bad Bunny tonight, he's actually doing a show tonight in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Yeah, so he just did the Super Bowl last week. Now he's in Argentina? So anyhow, let's talk about what Benito did. Let's talk about what we talk about Benito. So Bad Bunny, right? I guess being Bad Bunny has its perks. 3 straight weeks of excitement. You go to the Grammys last week, you win your first Grammy, you perform the Super Bowl, right? And now you're in South America. But in terms of this halftime show, the production quality looked good. The camera was, looked fine. But only 2 songs that I know of. First of all, Monaco, he was just rambling over the songs instrumental. And he wasn't singing as much because, the Super Bowl, they only give you like 13 minutes. So he was saying, it's great to be here in Spanish. And I'm like, this is one of your biggest hits. This is Monaco we're talking about. How are you not singing most of the song? Why? And then at the ending, and everybody wanted him to sing that other song, Diabra Tira Mas Fotos, right? Like that song where he wishes that he could take more photos with a loved one. That inspirational song in Spanish. I mean, it felt like it was rushed. I will say this, Lady Gaga coming out and doing that Latino themed thing for Die With a Smile. I liked it. I don't care what people say. I thought it was pretty good. And I've been following Lady Gaga now for almost 20 years, all right? Just going to drink of water here for a second. Very important to stay hydrated. But look, when you look at the overall production quality, I mean, I felt it looked good. Now, there was that moment where the kid held by ice. I think Benito did give the kid the trophy. The Grammys won. So, look, at the end of the day, what can you say about this show? To me, it was like, just felt rushed. You're not going to get the same quality like you did with Kendrick Lamar last year. Because again, I'm a Kendrick Lamar fan. So I got hyped when he got announced. So everybody again was saying last week, it should have been Sabrina Carpenter. Yeah. I'm not Jay-Z. I don't make those decisions. I'm not Rock Nation. How does Rock Nation get the responsibility for the Super Bowl halftime show? So you either had two options on Sunday. You had Bad Bunny, right? Now, I saw some of the Turning Point USA. Now, it looked good in the beginning. I didn't know who the other guys were, but Gabby Barrett looked stunning. That big song she had like 6 years ago, it was called I Hope. You know, she won American Idol a couple of years ago. People were nitpicking her. Oh, why did she get to do it? Look, I mean, if she was friends with Charlie Kirk, I mean, whatever. But she looked great, you know? Now, they were saying some interesting stats about both shows. But one thing's for sure. And this is going to give me indigestion. Kid Rock. Oh my God. When he came out, he was like, my name is Kid Rock. Oh my God. That was so annoying. I hated that. So obnoxious. And he was like, oh my God. That was so bad. I'm like, this is what Charlie Kirk wanted? This is what the Turning Point USA Foundation wanted? Kid Rock going, it's bouncing around, and I'm like, oh my God, this wasn't this. I fast forwarded through that part, and then right at the end, they gave a mini tribute to Charlie Kirk. Of course they were going to give a mini tribute to Charlie Kirk. So, just be glad that's over with. Oh my God. Thank God that's all over with. Let me tell you, I mean, the controversies, whatever. So let's get into some of the stats. So they said the Turning Point USA stream on YouTube got around 5 million live viewers, right? Now, it was some other Christian Catholic channels that were broadcasting it. I saw online, like, one guy got mad because they didn't show Bad Bunny. Instead, the bar showed Turning Point. I'm like, look, if you go to a bar that doesn't show Bad Bunny, like, don't make a big deal about it. Whatever. Do what I did. Just stay at home and have Bad Bunny on one screen, which what I did, and then put the Turning Point on the other screen, which that's what I did on last week on Sunday. So that got around 5-6 million live views on the Turning Point USA YouTube channel. Now, they said that like 128 million people watched Bad Bunny, right? They said something like that. Kendrick Lamar still holds his own record. He got like 134 million people watching him last year. So, to Kendrick Lamar, he should be very happy that he still has his record. Now, there's like a cultural divide in music. And again, I'm not the biggest Bad Bunny fan. I mean, sure, I've heard, again, Nueva York. I've heard the other one, Diebe Tira Mas Fotos, right? That one. Oh, you know how this song I'm familiar with? Like, he didn't sing this Bad Bunny. He didn't sing the one Mia with Drake. Like, I thought Drake was going to come out. I was like, maybe he might bring out Drake. He might bring out Drake and he'll do Mia. That's the other song. I know he did. Oh my God. Man. But the only reason why I know Bad Bunny was his run in WWE. He had that street fight against Damian Priest a couple years ago. So he had like a WWE run for a bit. And he made a song called Booker T. So Bad Bunny is a wrestling fan. I will give the guy credit when credit's due. So, thank goodness the Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter rumors are over with. Oh my god, the past week I couldn't get away from them. Like, there's this one account that was making AI memes about them, and I'm like, these AI memes have got to stop. I mean, just stop them, please. I know I got tagged in one. Oh, Andy's randomness and Sabrina Carpenter end up on a Dave and Buster's date. Look, I got my own things to worry about right now. You know, next week I'll get into some MTA stuff before the board and the committee meeting the following week, because I'm not going to talk about what I'm going to get into next week, but there's some urgent stuff we got to get into. MTA-wise, I'm not going to get into today, but that's going on. I'm only going to worry about work and... Listen, if it happens, it happens. You know, I'm not eager right now. So, AI stuff has got to tone down. Keep that stuff to yourself, or at least to your friends. Please. Don't make it publicly out there. That's where the RAM prices are going up. I'm not in any mood to get into that conversation. And by the way, happy birthday to... Darn it, where is it? I know I have it right here. Happy birthday to Short and Sweet Deluxe. Wow, 1 year already. Today's the actual 1 year anniversary of when Sabrina dropped the surprise tracks. Or as I like to call it, Longer and Sweet. And her fans are really liking the idea of just celebrating the anniversary today. One of my acquaintances online, she's from France, and she posted a cute meme this morning. I'm probably going to post it on my Instagram story when I'm done recording this. So if you want to see it, at Andy's Randomness on Instagram, go follow her if you are a Sabrina Carpenter fan. You don't have to, but I'm just like, ugh. And by the way, because of Sabrina Carpenter, the Muppets got a lot of good views on Disney Plus. I think I saw something where it was 8 million people have streamed the Muppet Show on Disney Plus in like the past week because of Sabrina. So there's a rumor going around that they might bring out Tyler the Creator. Now I'm like, for a kid's show? Really? I just think that's inappropriate. Because the puppeteer that plays Miss Piggy has said that Ariana Grande should be considered. And I would think Ariana Grande and Miss Piggy being together, that would be interesting. I saw something on Instagram, and I posted this on my story. I think it's like the 50th anniversary of the Muppet Show, and like the first guest was Steve Martin, the comedian. So there's like a different production quality like 50-something years ago. Whatever. But thanks to Sabrina, it got 8 million views on Disney Plus. Dolly Parton's been happy because Island in the Stream, I think that song is. Yeah, I saw something online that Dolly Parton's been getting a lot of streams on Spotify in the past week. So Little Miss Parton herself's been happy. And the family of Kenny Rogers has been happy because they used that song in one of the segments. And it's getting good reviews. Certified Fresh, Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I liked it. It was cute. It was great to see the Muppets back. And, you know, Sabrina did do Man-Child. And I'm like, those chickens. They're going to have to release... they're going to have to stream it on Spotify. Like, we just want the audio of it. Well, yeah. I think I'm done talking about pop culture for one. My brain, it's too much brain rot. I'd rather talk about real adult meaningful stuff here. All right. So let's get into some economics news. Because again, I've had way too much brain rot for one episode. Okay. So this week we got some big economic news from, of course, Steve Moore. I like talking about Steve Moore because, again, he's brilliant. You know, subscribe to the Unleashed Prosperity emails because they are a lot of good stuff here. But I'll do like a quick recap of what he went into, and then we'll get into the unemployment report, which is important. But I'm telling you all right now, do not expect interest rates to get cut this month because status quo Jerome is going to keep them the way they are. But anyhow, and this is the best way to celebrate our country's 250th birthday. In publicly traded companies, and this is like major companies, you know, use your imagination of what we use for our day-to-day products. For publicly traded companies in the United States, we're worth $71 trillion. The European Union only has $15.7 trillion. China has $11.2 trillion. Japan has $6.9. UK has $4.5. India has $4.4. And Canada has $3.9. So look at that. It's amazing. So tax rates are declining. This week we also got some good news that the consumer price index went down to 2.1%. So that is very good news. Think about that. Think about how important that is. That inflation is important, right? Now, the unemployment report. I couldn't get into it last week. So the good news is payrolls went up. That is good news. I'll get into the exact number in just a second. The unemployment rate for the month of January tickled down to 4.3%. So 1% down from 4.4% in December of 2025. So we talked about the total non-farm roll payroll, 130,000. So it did exceed the expectations. So that's very good news. Now, in terms of other economic news that I will quickly get into, nothing really interesting did catch my eyes other than, again, January wages, right? And this is something very interesting when you look at the consumer price index that went up under Biden. So in terms of the consumer price index, this is a very interesting statistic. So that's the last thing I want to get into. So in the first Trump term from 2017 to 2021, the consumer price index was around the first average 1.9%, right? And then when Biden came in, it dramatically went up because, again, it does have something to do with the Federal Reserve because we've learned one thing coming out of an economic recovery after a pandemic. I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this, but I'm going to say it out loud. God forbid we get into another pandemic. You have to raise interest rates. I mean, really. You know the economy's going to grow fast. You know people are going to be eager. I've been locked up in my house for so long. I want to buy a car. I want to buy a house. I want to do... Oh, God, the amount of people taking out loans to buy a car in 2021 partially can't be blamed on Biden. Because Biden didn't realize the economy was going to grow too fast, and we all got caught completely off guard by that. And then there were not enough people at the docks to take the stuff off the boats, blah, blah, blah. We don't need to get into that. But this is interesting how, in terms of the consumer price index, and again, this is very important to note that, again, 2.4%. It's a lot better than what we had under Biden. You want to know something interesting about the price of gas? And I want to mention the gas prices. I mean, they've been a little steady lately. I will mention that price of gas is $2.93 a gallon. Now, compared to where we were a year ago at this time on Valentine's Day 2025, it was around $3.16 a gallon. So, say what you want about Trump, but there has been a little bit of a positivity in terms of that. Now, I know if I want to take a trip over to Nassau County, I can probably get a gallon of gas for like $2.81 a gallon if I know where to get it, which is a lot cheaper than paying it here in Queens, which is an interesting way of looking at it. Now, in terms of who has the cheapest gas in the United States right now, it's Arkansas. Arkansas and Kansas. Arkansas and Kansas have like gas for $2.47 a gallon. They have like the cheapest gas in the entire United States. But if you look at the other states, I mean, California, why is their gas $4.50 a gallon? Shouldn't be that high. There must be something going on with Chevron and the oil companies out in the West Coast. I don't want to put my personal opinion into it, but I'm just going to say this. If Steve Hilton becomes the next governor of California and he talks about the Department of Government Efficiency. Now, we all have a love-hate relationship with it, but in California, it's needed. Something's got to be investigated immediately if Steve Hilton becomes governor. And I'm going to put a message to him right now. If Steve Hilton is watching this somewhere, and he's in California, and I'm sure he's busy campaigning every day, because believe me, I think California needs a wake-up call. My God, gas should not be $4.50 a gallon, but the rest of the country is paying on average $3 a gallon. I will warn you all right now, don't get too carried away with the low gas price, because once the weather gets warmer, you know people are going to start driving again. I mean, it's obvious. You know the demand for gas is going to go up. So, be ready for that. That's coming soon. But that's where I'm going to end this week's episode on that note. So concludes another edition of Whenever Saturday. Thank you all very much for watching. Again, the mass transit issues that I'm going to get into, I'll probably do a special video on it. I want to talk about the Omni machines first. I did like my own investigation, so we'll put that video up. I got to edit that one probably... probably do it tonight. It won't take that long tonight, and I could have it ready by Monday. But I want to talk about the Queens Bus Network redesign. That's important because there's a survey going on, and I want to do like my own POV on me taking the survey. So I'll screen record that, and then we'll give my honest take on the survey. Because I've had I've had the team at Passengers United finagle me on it. I've had Jack Nierenberg and Charlton DeSouza. They're like, you should really fill out the survey. I'm going to do a video on it. Don't worry. We're going to do a video. I'm going to fill out the survey. I know Jack did it on the Passengers United channel, so I'm, want to check them out. Search for Passengers United here on YouTube, and I think Jack did like a 45-minute narration on it, something like that. So that's where I'll end it. Enjoy your rest of the Valentine's Day. If you do get the day off on Monday, happy President's Day early. And am I going to do an episode of whenever Saturday? It depends if something happens. But I know the 28th I will have my Elimination Chamber predictions. So we will have that. We will do that on February 28th. So until the next one, everyone. Again, happy Valentine's Day. Happy President's Day. So until the next one. Oh, don't forget, Andy plays tomorrow. So we have that going on. So until the next one, everyone. Please take care.